Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with me today is Dr. Joan of Angels, because I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name again. Joan is a cosmic spiritual leader, cosmic activator, angel of light. Her purpose is to help you awaken to your mission. She is here to heal and to inspire you to remember why you are here and to show you how to live your life using your talents and skills and doing the work you came here to do. Well, welcome to the show, Joan. It's so great to get to chat with you again.
I know. I'm really excited to be back on the show. I always feel very aligned when we sit and we just we bring everything to the surface that needs alkalizing, chemicalizing and shifting. So I like that. It's all about transformation.
It is. And there's so much movement happening right now. This year feels like, I know it's a year for laying the foundations for the bigger things that are going to happen next year and the year after, but when January hit, it was like this big ball of energy just like burst forth in my world. How about yours?
Oh, well, I have to laugh. It's a 9-year, and it started with a bang. It just started with, when you talk about spiritual mastery and letting go of everything that doesn't serve you, people, places, and things. And I've been in a 9-year all year. I'm in a 9-year till March, but now it's heavy duty because it's aligned with the rest of the planet. But, just even what's happening in our government, in the world around us, everything has just undergone a complete letting go of what doesn't serve us. And it's exciting to see. It's like electric.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I have been electrified, rejuvenized, excited about what's to come. And I feel like people really are going to need us this year with all these changes that are happening. And these upgrades, these energetic upgrades, it's like we all need to do what we can to make sure we keep our energy upgraded. So.
Yeah, and there's ways that we can do it and also protect ourselves at the same time a little bit. And I know we're both part of an organization called LegalShield, and we're going to talk a lot about that on this episode, mainly because there's I think a lot of misinformation about what LegalShield is and does, and B, I don't think there are a lot of people that really know about how they could be protecting themselves. And we've got all of these things like the fires in California and the people that are still living in tents in the very cold, frigid mountains of Georgia. Had they perhaps had legal protection, they might not be suffering the consequences that they are suffering today.
Well, let's break it down, Jill, because that's something so important. I don't have a chart for you, but imagine that you have a chart in front of you. On the top is all your insurances: auto insurance, health insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think you pay for all of that?
Probably several $100s a month.
Several $100s. So what happens if you get into an auto accident and the damage to your car is $1,500? The insurance company says all we'll give you is $1,100, not a penny more. What do you do? Or I mean,
Yeah.
I want you to hold that thought. You pay
Yeah.
them, 150 a month. What do you do? Or let's say you have health insurance. This happened to a friend of mine. His wife had radiation for cancer, $55,000 of treatment. She had to have a series of 10. And the insurance company turned around after she had it and said, we ain't paying for this. What do you do? Or your homeowner's insurance. God forbid someone, you know,
Your house burns down in the fires.
yes, worth 5 and it's worth 380. Okay. What do you do? So in this graph, you have the purpose of LegalShield, which I didn't know till recently. LegalShield manages it all. Your husband dies and the life insurance only pays you half and refuses to give you more. You're going to call Ghostbusters. You can call LegalShield. That's your Ghostbusters for $1 a day in your pocket. You can call them and they will help you go after your insurance company. It's your car insurance or your health insurance or your life insurance policy to make sure you get covered. So it's a master insurance, and you're only paying for that maybe maximum $49 a month, maximum for the highest quality. And we need this. We need that. You have your legal shield protection, and then you have your trial defense and your ID shield, and you are protected. And you're protected against someone trying to get a mortgage in your name or trying to take your title. So these are things we don't think about,
Until they happen.
until
And
they happen.
and then you're standing there going, well, how can I deal with this? The medical thing is huge. People don't realize how often medical insurance companies will deny your claim after the fact. They may tell you in the beginning it's
Yes.
okay. They're just hoping that you'll feel guilty and pay the doctor bill yourself. And when it comes to
Well,
these things that are going on in um the natural disasters that are happening, those those are the same deal. They're just the insurance companies are waiting and denying claims, hoping that the government will step in so they can just basically steal your money. And unless you have an attorney to go after these people, and believe me, they have like more attorneys than they have adjusters, to keep from having to pay these bills, you're you're kind of screwed. You're at their mercy. And for like really $1 a day, that's nothing.
right. And it was prepaid legal years ago. And as in my chiropractic office, I had prepaid legal because I found you just never know when someone would slip on their way in or didn't like the popcorn I served in the
Broke a
office
tooth.
or the hot apple cider. Maybe it burned their tongue. I mean, people have it's a litigious, litigious society. But the legal shield covers. So I don't know. Do you have a will? Oh, look at that. Do you have a will, comma, Jill?
I
I
do,
just like the way
but
that
I joined
sounded.
because I need a trust. I'm going to inherit a sizable amount of money when my father passes. Hopefully he'll be around for a long time to come, but still, I I don't want to absorb that into my income as a family rather than having it go into a trust and protect it from
Right,
the tax ramifications. And to protect
right.
it from my
So you
kids
have a
because I want them to be able to inherit a lot of it too.
right, a family trust. So you're having them do your trust.
Mhm.
I've used them several times. One of them was someone and it was a little thing, but I decided that I have an attorney. So I bought something online and it showed that the checkout was something like $29.99. And then when I got the invoice, it was like $69.99. And I got really pissed. There was no excuse for $40 difference. So I wrote to them and I said, if you don't um, refund me immediately back down to the original price, I'll have my attorney handle this. And I swear within 20 minutes, they took care of it. So, and I felt, yeah, all right. We
Empowering.
don't have anyone in our corner. We do not have anyone in our corner taking care of our interests. And that's what I've been discovering, that when you have the Legal Shield, they'll pay for your IRS audit, they'll take care of that for a certain amount of hours. And I have to tell you, I had $100,000 in attorney fees and legal fees for an IRS audit in the early 90s. Was it the 90s? No, early 2000s. And it was huge. That's a lot of money. And it's included in that also. Or, there's another reason, if anyone ever burns your hair, the hairdresser, you can get compensated. So just another thing you can use, or your documents reviewed and all of your contracts. But we haven't even talked about what got me, Jill, was that I discovered 3 people using my social security number.
Oh my God.
I woke up, when I was getting alerts that someone was taking a payday loan in my name. And a letter from the IRS, 3 of you, they don't seem to mind that 3 people used my social security number. And so that was one of the things, that the angst that I went through is indescribable. When someone's hacked in your account or in your accounts, or suddenly you find that someone has a T-Mobile account in your social security number, you just panic. And
Yeah.
if you're in the 5th dimensional frequency and you've been alchemized, it's kind of hard to stay up there when you're trying to figure out, what the heck do I do?
Yeah, it's just like this huge anchor suddenly gets attached to your foot and you're dragged way down, and then you're in this zone of I don't I don't know what to do now that I'm in this spot. And there's so many scams out there. I literally just got a call from my daughter who um who got in a car accident. She hit a deer over the weekend. And so we're handling all of the repairs and stuff because we bought the car, it was in our name, she makes the payments. And so she was unclear. She got this message saying that she had a car invoice that was overdue or something. It sounded almost like it was like she'd been on a tollway or something, but we don't have
Oh
toll
my
roads
God,
around
yes,
here.
I've gotten that one. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. And I knew that I had completely paid out my account. I mean, it was all, and I'm looking at that same email. So
It's
what did she
scary.
do?
So, well, she called mom, but if she didn't have mom and she had LegalShield, she could call her attorney and say, "Hey, is this legitimate?" But it, it there's just so many things like that. My dad, who he got scammed out of $3,000, and he had a unique way of looking at it. But instead of like getting all upset about it and doing whatever he could do, which isn't really a lot. When you get scammed, it's like unless you have LegalShield and their ID protection, it protects you for like $1 million,
3 million.
$3 million. I know it was something
Big
really
difference.
incredibly large amount.
Big difference. Yeah. Yeah. They'll pay up to that to get your credit restored and your
Mhm.
identity restored if someone should really go all out. And the chances of that are big now. So
Right.
I read something like 69% of globally have had some kind of hacking of their accounts or release of their private data. And that's what we're talking about, release of your private data on the dark web where it's being sold. People are buying it and they are hacking into your account. I was on the plane the other night, or about 2 weeks ago, and I guess, you're on their network. And I had to turn off my VPN to get on their network. And I went in, somehow I wanted to buy the Wi-Fi, and I went into my PayPal account. And when it says text, do you want to text to get your digit code to get in? There
Mhm.
was a phone number I didn't recognize right there.
Mhm.
Someone had somehow, while I'm on the plane, hacked into my accounts, and it's a good thing I saw it. I mean, I was able to change it as soon as I landed, but that was scary. That's PayPal right there on the plane
Yeah.
in my face.
Yeah.
So this is real. And we should talk a little bit about Legal Shield then. So guys, Legal Shield is a company that protects you, gives you peace of mind, just like every other insurance. But, remember I told Jill to look at all of her insurance, auto, home, health, and life. And I said, we put Legal Shield because if they screw up and they don't pay what they're supposed to, Legal Shield will enforce it. Legal Shield is the grand enforcer, and and it'll make all your other policies work
The way they're supposed to.
the way they're supposed to. It's too bad we need an enforcer, but we obviously do in this society. So rather than lament that, we do something about it. So I'm very action oriented, Jill. I can't stand being in limbo or being vulnerable to something that I can fix.
Same way, Joan. It's just like when I found out about Legal Shield, I was like, how could I not spend a small amount of money to get so much protection and just really the peace of mind of knowing that I have somebody in my corner to make all of these other people do what they're supposed to do because you can't just not have homeowners insurance. You can't get a mortgage unless you have homeowners insurance. You can't
Unless you
just
pay cash, but yeah.
well, yeah, but even then, I mean, if your house burns down, then
Well,
you're
no,
out of
you
the
still
money.
need it. Right, 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 right. Look what happened here in California. But yes, absolutely. So you
And
have to have that. You have to have like health insurance.
yeah, you can't just not have health insurance, but eh, more and more, the health insurance isn't really, they're just taking your money. They're not really doing anything for you. And it's like all the insurance companies are like, it's like pulling teeth to
Right,
get
right.
them
They're
to
bailing,
like,
bailing.
yeah,
Yeah, they
you can't
are. They
drive
are.
without insurance.
Technically, legally, you can't. That's right. And if they decide your car is only worth, this much money, you're not going to get a dollar more
Right.
and to repair it. And so those are the things we deal with. So I
Hey all, I'm Jill Hart. We all know that legal matters can be costly and stressful. Finding the right representation and dealing with high retainers and hourly bills adds up fast. But what if I told you there was a way to have legal insurance, just like your health or auto insurance? Well, LegalShield has leveled that playing field. From just $29.95 a month, you get access to lawyers for personal legal matters, from traffic tickets to real estate issues or even trust matters. Help is just a tap away on your phone. Call or text 435-764-0875 and use the code JillLegal or start your journey to legal protection today.
I believe an ounce of prevention. And we haven't talked about this other subject. Honestly, one of the reasons, Jill, that I said yes to Legal Shield, and it's kind of funny, I had my new book coming out on the Miracle Makers Club, Manifest Miracles Daily, and I was writing it all summer and discovered how powerful it was. And then I met Jay and I discovered Legal Shield. And what I really wanted was a financial miracle. I was going, okay, I need to have something that's a residual income now in case I can't work. And what am I going to do? And suddenly I'm talking to Jay about this. And so to me, this is a perfect solution to those people who want large chunks of money in return for their efforts and who really are tired of working for nothing and not having residual income. So to me, if you're in that position that you are looking for residual income or you want a second income because things are so expensive in today's world, this is an amazing opportunity for a person who really wants to do that. They have set it up in a beautiful way to compensate their associates. What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's not like they bill themselves as an MLM, but I've been in the insurance world and the real estate world, and I can tell you from my perspective, it's more like that than it is an MLM. Yes, they tell you go and talk to everybody you know, but Hello, why wouldn't you if you were going to be able to help everybody you know with legal protection to help them enforce like the insurance companies pay out that they already have to pay for such a small price that it's like
Right.
so that part of it is like a no-brainer to me because when I found out about that they're going to compensate me and not like just a few dollars, it's like serious compensation to bring other people and to um share this great information with them and help them get protected too. And so I call it legal insurance rather than legal protection because to me that's what it is.
Interesting. And I just call it financial miracle because to me that is what it is. Because if you work hard, you can do that. And I love that you can get large chunks of money and that they pay you as an insurance company. And they train you as an entrepreneur. And that is invaluable. I heard Jason the other night talking about, and a few people on the call talking about the training that you get to really follow your dreams, because that's what entrepreneurship is follow your dreams. And that's why we do it, so we can have that. So the business training for all of you entrepreneurs out there is also invaluable. And the way I've been working, Jill, it's really interesting. Once I got into Legal Shield and I started thinking of it in terms of miracles, and then my new book came out, I've been really doing these Dr. Jones Miracle Makers Masterminds, which is for my team. I'm doing it free for my team. I'll be charging for everyone else, but really how we can step up our game, everyone, and become a miracle attractor and help really attract people who need what we have to offer. And that's why some people call it attraction marketing, Jill. You become a beaming light.
It's your job just to turn that light switch on.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah. And I do financial consultations to people to see if you really need this kind of protection, and pointing out what can happen if you don't have it. So I'm very much about keeping ourselves in this fifth dimensional frequency and making sure our physical reality is handled properly. So I'm not distracted, heading for the stars here,
I,
achieving my dreams.
and it's so simple. It's really so simple to get started. And it really is like it's between $29 and $49 depending on what you want.
Right, right, true.
That's
And then we haven't talked about the add-ons, like you could get trial defense. Okay, I'm not a gun owner, but if I owned a gun, I certainly would want to make sure my gun insurance policy, because you probably have one, also covers what they say they're going to cover to protect you in all ways that we don't even know. And also, I love that if you're a truck driver or an Uber driver, you get special coverage.
I have
There's
a
special
friend
coverage for that.
who actually has had Legal Shield for like 20 years, her whole truck driving career. Because when I asked her about it, she said, "Oh yeah, I would not be without it." She was an associate for a while, but she has been a member for like almost 20 years now.
Well, so it's the kind of thing that once you sign up, because you can't have these other insurances without your enforcer insurance, your legal enforcer. So if you're entrepreneurial at all and you want to protect your assets, also as a business person, last year I paid $5,000 to get Joan of Angels trademark. And now I find out that I think it's like I can't remember, like 180 a month, I could have had my trademark done. In other words, I still wouldn't have reached that $5,000 mark. And I would have had all the other legal protection as well. So there's just a lot of assets to doing this.
There are, and anytime you're in business and you have contracts, in fact, I was doing some research on it, and the number one reason that coaches get sued because they don't have contracts. There are a lot of people out there
Yes,
that have just decided they're gonna hang out their shingle and go to work, but they don't think about,
illegal.
the legal part of it, and you could lose everything. And how many of people are out there doing business without an LLC? Another, like, you're just a recipe for disaster.
Right, right. And you can have a consultation with your Legal Shield attorney to help you set up your business structure.
Mhm.
And that also is an asset. But you're right, as healers, and I know many of my followers are healers themselves, or energy workers, or sound healers, or readers, or any of that.
Mhm.
If people follow our advice, we say, well, if it were me, I would do A, B, and C, and then they go and do A, B, and C. And if A, B, and C does not work out in their favor, you have a very pissed off client. And unless you've managed to protect yourself, even just their negative comments and their negative testimonials, you might really want to get those removed. You might want to protect yourself from anything that they can do to you.
Yeah, sometimes they just flat out sue you.
Yes, yes, that happens. Yes,
And verbal contracts are a thing that most people don't realize. When you make statements online, well, for one thing, if you're making them online, physically typing them out, that is in fact a contract. You're making claims, and you need to be able to back those claims up if you're ever challenged. And you can get taken to court and challenged over them. There's it's just like weird things happen when you decide that you're going to be putting yourself out there, especially online, that you might not even be aware of. But if you make a verbal agreement with a client
Mhm.
and you don't have a written contract, that is still a contract. It's hard for you to backpedal on, but not as
Mhm.
hard for your
Mhm.
client.
Right. I know on Gnostic we have disclaimers on the when the shows start that it's not medical advice, but it's true. It's true. So the thing is that we're walking around in these bodies, and these bodies have a certain presence that has a certain energy that could, in fact, it's like you have to create it absolutely that we live in a society that we cannot just do our thing normally and not worry about consequences, but that's not true. So there are consequences here on the planet, and protecting yourself. As a chiropractor, I had to do that all the time. Absolutely. You know, one day I had a client and I heard a little voice in my head that said, don't adjust this person, they're going to sue you. I'd never been sued in my life. And I didn't listen to the voice, and they turned around and they tried to sue me. Now they lost because they went about it wrong. Thank God. But it just happens. In fact, it happens far more than we know.
Mhm. And you can end up in legal trouble. Like my daughter, she had and my I have another daughter, and she was at a park, and she was being surrounded by a bunch of hoodlums. She was feeling threatened, and she had her little kids with her, and she was trying to get to her car, and she ended up A, calling the police, and B, she threw a rock at them to try to get them to break apart. And the police ended up arresting her for throwing the rock. And she went to jail. And she spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars defending herself. She
Wow.
was the one that called the police. So you might think that, just because you called the police, or just because you were trying to protect yourself, that it's going to be okay. Well, no.
Wow. Wow. And in that kind of situation, just to point out, she would go on her phone, she goes to the Legal Shield app, and there's a place for immediate help.
Yes.
And you press that button. And so if your kids get stopped by a cop, or you get stopped by a cop, she could have had legal advice. She could have potentially prevented all that happened. So we know. I don't want to dwell on it. What I really want to dwell on is that there are solutions to protecting yourself for almost nothing. The identity theft protection, I think the most expensive is $29.95, if I recall. And then you have the LegalShield protection for individuals and family. It's worth every penny. It may seem like an investment, but in a way, it's just like having car insurance when you need it or
And
a
the
will.
best part is you can go around and help other people and you can get it for free. You can make money by being
You can
protected.
make money doing, yes, you can make money by being protected. And so I tell everyone just to call me, text me, 415-717-1385. I think I'm going to do a song about it. You can call me, you can text me, and we'll talk about how first of all, what kind of protection you would need and how you can get protected, and then how you can actually do what Jill and I are doing and really make it available to other people and benefit financially and make residual income and be among those people who really can live your dream because you are getting trained to be an extraordinary entrepreneur who's able to build a team and be the leader you've always thought you could be.
And I think we've both found that you can be part of Legal Shield and use the gifts that you're here to share with other people to just enhance the Legal Shield aspect of it. Like I can talk to people on my podcast about Legal Shield, and you are having these masterminds where you're really helping people with discovering miracles in their lives and creating miracles in their lives around different aspects. And so it's not like you're totally shifting gears by being part of Legal Shield. It's just another piece of what you provide to your clients and your guests.
Right. And it took a while to understand what the big attractor what has been for me. But honestly, I have a big dream, and that requires a large financial outlay, to step into miracles, to go worldwide teaching miracles. And so I love that Legal Shield is part of that. We talk protection, we talk miracles. Protect your miracles, protect your financial miracles, open up to abundance, and feel like you won't be kind of like what happened to your daughter was pretty frightening. And the more we step out as leaders and show what we do, yes, you're right, the more vulnerable we can be. And no one has our back in particular. It's about really making sure we can thrive. 2025, time to thrive.
Love it. Thanks, Joan, for joining me and talking all things Legal Shield today. And people can get a hold of you how? I know you gave us your phone number.
Yeah, so my website, I think my Legal Shield website I want to give is jhangarter.legalshieldassociate.com. I give everyone my phone number now because if anything Jill and I said hit you, just text me and say, I watched you and Jill. Can we talk? 415-717-1385. And I like to see why you would even need this in your life. I think that's really important. And my other website for Joan of Angels, all the miracle work we do, joanofangels.com. Check that out. Join me on that. Step into your best gifts this life. That's what I'm about. How to live your best life now.
I love
Not
that.
next year, but now.
Today. It can
Today.
start in the next 5 minutes.
It already happened. And you know a miracle for me, Jill, is that I really do love when we get online together. And why don't we set it up so I can have you on my show?
I would love that.
The Dr. Joan of Angels show. So after we hang up, we can set up a time for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me, Joan.
Thanks for inviting me, you beautiful alchemist, you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at The You World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.